Welcome to another session of GunnerKing's Court. And we've got some stories to discuss today. Some good, some bad. But it's Arsenal Football Club. We wouldn't have it any other way. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to yet another session of GunnerKing's Court. I have with myself, today, James.
What's up, bro?
A host of stories. I'm all good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm all right. I'm trying to I can't not pay attention to the Arsenal news, like you see all the time. But I'm just working, man. I'm enjoying life.
It always gets worse after a result like the last one, doesn't it? You're just scrolling, tapping the refresh button, just come on, man.
After the Brentford game, my thoughts of logic, me being rational, being okay, right, this isn't that bad, we've got this and that, they all went out the window. I'm like, yeah, this club's dead. Like, we're going down the pan, we're getting relegated, all of that stuff. But now having a few days to reflect and yada yada yada, there's still time to fix it. So
they've got to fix it. I mean, it's Wednesday, it's Tuesday now, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks left. Well, 13 days.
13 days. There's still no signs of any concrete signings on the horizon, but there are a few rumors that we're going to go through. But first of all, guys, I just want to get the early message in. Please like and subscribe the video to help us grow. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to obviously share this around with your friends. This is GunnerKing's Court. We're going to be discussing Arsenal transfer news. Hold tight, the Nigerian Englishman on One Touch TV, opening up the court session formally. And yes, Rian, top frenemy. We've got Rian, big Chelsea fan in the house. All good, man. Respect, man. We're gonna. I think the guys are gonna obviously be doing a preview show. I think maybe with RC for the Chelsea game this weekend. So stay tuned for more news on that. And also, Mr. Silver Fox is in the building. What's going on? But yeah, story number one that we wanted to take a look at. I think. I'm just sick to seeing it. Sick to the back too. Sorry of seeing it. Just want to go. I mean, well, we'll go into this one first. Actually, that was labelled Ramsdale, but hey ho, here we are now. So we'll talk about Aubameyang and this potential swap deal with Barcelona, involving Philippe Coutinho coming in this direction, with him going to Barcelona. I personally don't think there's much legs in it. What do you think, James?
Nah, stay away. Aubameyang's better. Don't bring Coutinho in. I swear it would be the most Arsenal thing to do. Swap your captain and your highest paid earner for a worse player that's earning more money. It just would be the epitome of Arsenal Football Club to do it. And I beg they have some common sense for once. Once. And then they don't do this deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think he's. Coutinho's a good player. I think,
Aubameyang's better though.
If he can do anything like what he was doing at Liverpool, I'm not saying that I'm all for the swap, because I still think Aubameyang could do a service from someone like him. Actually, funnily enough, but as a player individually, weighing him up, I guess the merit would be, Aubameyang's age. If the contract is comparable, Coutinho's still 29. There's still some prime in front of him, I guess. I mean, look, this is a guy that cost Barcelona 140 million pounds. You know, like it's probably what got them in the mud in the first place financially. But yeah, I think he's definitely got quality. It's just the time he hasn't been playing. Is he going to be able to get back to those standards? Is a big question.
He's not the
Risking
profile.
away.
Yeah, for me, I don't understand why we'd bother when we lack goals already. And yes, I know we lack creativity, but then you're just swapping the creativity and then causing a lack of goals anyway. So you've got players that can create now, but
No one
who's
can
going to finish
chances.
it? Yeah. So not for
yeah.
me.
I think if they were to do this swap deal, they would have to get another striker.
Yeah, but
I think what they would think is, oh, we're going to have Balogun and Martinelli shadowing Lacazette, or you know, there's talk of even him going as well. So I think if this was to go ahead, it would signal a move towards a new striker. Surely, be suicide not to.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, it's not a move I'm even contemplating. I don't think it has legs to it. If we're gonna do a swap deal with Barcelona, I will happily give you Aubameyang for Emerson. I'll give you Aubameyang for Emerson. I'd take Emerson plus cash for Aubameyang. Emerson is the right player we need, or Sergio Dest, or even Roberto. Like, they have 3 right backs that are really good.
Well,
Any one of those 3.
I'd rather take the first 2, either Emerson or Dest. I think Roberto,
Yeah, of course,
more of a central midfielder that just got forced to play as a right back.
He's better than any of ours by a lot. So
yeah. I think the other player we were looking at potentially with an arrangement like that was Umtiti.
Yeah, no. He's. I'm not saying he's past it. He's not past it, but the levels that he was to now. But yeah, no, Silva. I still even wouldn't swap Aubameyang for Neto, because we're placing Neto's here, and we've gone from Aubameyang being here to here, and
maybe a few players.
Barca aren't going to. If we gave up Aubameyang for Neto and Emerson, or Neto and Dest, then I think that's fair enough if we're using the funds to get striker, as you said. But I don't like any of the swap deals that are being proposed. For me, just stay clear of Barcelona for now. Just stay away.
I don't know. I think there's bargains to be had there, because they need to literally they need to bring their operating costs to a certain point before the window opens, or they can't register their new signings.
Yeah, but it depends. If we're talking a swap deal, there's no bargains to be had, because the players we're being linked to aren't going to be sold. They're swap deals, and we're swapping a better player for these players. If you want to talk about buying, yeah, but I haven't seen a solid report that has indicated that Barcelona want to offer these bargains that you've said in regards to Aubameyang. Call you Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
I always get that on your TikTok. Always. I just see Lacazette, Thierry Henry.
Or David McGoldrick as well, yeah. But yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, I don't think there's much legs on it, but you never know. It's a strange world we're in right now. But moving on to the next story. This was the one that I wanted to open with. It appears that it's been reported that the Ramsdale deal is now back on. And this is going to be a bit of a theme for today's show of, deals being resurrected from the death, so to say, or, so Ramsdale, I mean, I feel like I've said everything I need to on him, really. I just think, I don't think he's as bad as our fan base make him out to be.
He's not.
I don't judge him on this wash narrative that, he got 2 teams relegated, as if 10 other players weren't responsible, and a manager and a whole backroom set, whatever, to work with, bench, all that jazz. So I just think it's a lot of money to pay for a guy you wouldn't intend to play, especially a goalkeeping position. It's not like, say, a winger or a central midfielder or another striker where you can alternate them. The goalkeeping one's the one you're going to stick with. So what, is he going to play cup games? And at 23, his
I
game
reckon
needs to develop
he
from
played
having
Prem.
game time, So like he has to have the game time. What's going to happen in the year that he doesn't? Is he going to be able to, who knows?
For me, I'm not against the deal, right? I think if this is my stance on it, right? I'm not against Ramsdale coming. I don't understand it, but they obviously have a plan. I'm not going to say it's going to be a good plan because we don't know, right? Like we don't know how it's going to turn out. But from what we've seen, logically this summer, maybe not Tavares, but the people we've been looking at, they've had an idea of the type of player they want to buy. Like they were so short on Ben White because of his abilities, right? Same with Lokonga. Tavares was a bit, I don't know if they really scouted him or if it was kind of like you look good, we will buy you for that money because it was cheap. For me, he's 23. If he comes in for that money, I think he becomes number one. I don't think Leno sticks.
That's what I'm thinking.
From what to be honest, from what I've seen, I don't understand if Leno's head's in it or if it's just bad form or whatever. But he's been pretty dire for about 7-8 months. Like he's been pretty bad. And it's not normal for him. He was normally a good keeper, competent, whatever it was, right? But for me, if you spend that money, Leno becomes number two in a transitional period. From what I've seen, it is English tax as well. Like Ben White, any deal, you're putting the price on it. I'm not against I'm not against Aaron Ramsdale coming in because I think he might be an improvement on Leno. Not right now, but in the future maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. I think everyone's so like everybody, including myself. They're like, why are we spending over this much money when we can buy a right back, a central midfielder, right? I think that's the issue with it. It's we haven't done the deals that we needed to do so that we can get the fan bases on side. So a deal like Ramsdale becomes, we fixed every other position. Now we're spending more money on a goalie. We don't care. We adjusted the positions we need to. And I think that's the stance of everyone. He's not as bad as what everyone makes it out to be. He's not as good as everyone makes him out to be. He's somewhere in the middle, a keeper with good potential, homegrown, that is going to be expensive, but might be a good signing.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see. I think he will develop into a good player. I just think his development path right now, and going back to this, I think this is what the plan would be. It would be, as you say, either to make him number one immediately, or to have like a 1-year handover period where we find somewhere for Leno, keep him in the shop window, keep him playing, and kind of with Ramsdale shadowing him in training, working closely with him to transition him into the number one position. But I don't see how you spend 30 million on a keeper without a first team intention in mind. If not for now, then the future. And I think it is a mixture of like the defense in front of him that's needed to get more out of Leno, but I also think the system of playing out the back where he's expected to have more responsibilities in forward progression. I think that complicates his game because it's not in his wheelhouse, his immediate wheelhouse, So, I think that's an ongoing issue. I think it's more stylistic and, kind of like profile alignment to a particular system that Arteta has in mind, as opposed to not rating him as a shot stopper, which I think he's actually fairly competent at being. But we'll have to see. We'll be ready in a year to become number one.
Maybe Leno won't be here in a year, I don't think. So he's have to be if we're buying him.
That's it. I think I think that's what everyone's kind of expecting. And I think Leno's camp, there have been rumblings from it, definitely. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the keeper situation between Ramsdale and Neto. A lot of the fan base further favor the Neto move as a short-term bridge, kind of like your stopgap before we kind of go and get a better keeper once we're moving Leno on, or once he's ready to leave the nest, so to say. But yeah, moving on story-wise, the next one we wanted to get in that's potentially back on the table, AFC Bell reporting that he believes Arsenal have not thrown the towel in their chase to get Maddison from Leicester. Their intention is to put a bid together officially to get across to Leicester this week by the end of it. And it's the inkling here is that the talks could go favorably. I mean, it's really is the hope that it's killing us at the moment. So I'm not even gonna. I mean, like I know Bell's he's trusted. He's top. Obviously of the tier ones. For this club, but like I can't take any more. I can't take any more like being built up to being brought back down again.
I don't know if it's being brought back down. I think, right, from what the Bell's saying, and this is what gives me hope, is because last summer, everybody, and I mean everybody, was like, Thomas Partey is not coming. And this, I know it was this is a simple deal to get done because it's a release clause, right? We still had to buy him from Atletico. We still had to trigger it, right? Everybody was saying we don't have the money. It's not happening, not coming. Why would downgrade, yada, yada, all of the normal spiel that people give, right? Up until the last day, where only Charles Watts was the only person that confirmed Thomas Partey was coming to the Gunners, right? On deadline day. He was the only person, apart from the Bell, who's been saying it all summer. And again, Fabrizio, Odegaard number one. David Ornstein is Odegaard's number one, right? All of these reliable journalists are saying it's not happening. And again, the only one that's sticking to their guns and is saying this deal is on is the AFC Bell. I could be wrong. And as you said, it might be hope more than anything. That's driving me to believe it.
I'm not even going to do it. I'm not even going to do
it. Whoever we get, right? My number one is James Maddison, same as yours. We're in the same boat. But whoever we get is a very good addition to the squad. If you get Odegaard, he's 2 years behind James Maddison. He's a little bit less developed, but I think his ceiling's higher. I went back and watched his highlights for Arsenal in the past 6 months. I know it's highlights, so it's a bit skewed. This is his best of the best, but some of the stuff he was doing with the ball,
passing,
unbelievable. Like his vision, genuinely, is just like he'll look that way and he'll pass the ball that way. It's ridiculous. Either
really, really good at threading the eye through.
He is, and this
between players, like with I think Pepe was someone that really benefited. With Odegaard.
I think
because he would overload on that right hand side as well. So then that's when Pepe could tuck in a lot more and get closer to goal. Like if you look at that Brighton goal, it typifies what I'm talking about, where he's overloaded in the right half space, and then that's made Pepe kind of look and make a diag inroad into the pitch, which he's passed into perfectly. And he's only had to take 1 or 2 touches before he took a shot. And this is the thing. This is how you get more out of Pepe. Sometimes it's not, a lot of people are like, well, he doesn't get goals. But can he get goals out of the other midfielders? I believe he can. Can he get goals out of the other strikers? He created more shooting opportunities than Bruno from when he was in January.
Yeah. No, he did.
So,
I think in this regard, right, this is what annoys me. About not our fan base, but certain specific Arsenal fans in general. They're like, it's Maddison or no one, right? They're so fixated and like narrow-minded on it's James Maddison or bust, right? I'm looking at this 10 position as it's a win-win whoever we get. As long as we get one of Odegaard or Maddison, they improve us a lot. We've seen what Odegaard can do in a small time frame, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen what Maddison can do for this squad. And for me, again, like it's the hope that kills you, right? But if
it is a risk, though, isn't it? It's less
injured as well. He came off injured.
Yeah.
Did you see he came off injured in the game? He got an injury. He got his hip again. He did his hip.
Who did?
Maddison. He injured his hip again. He's reoccurring injury. He injured his hip. He came off.
When?
The game he just played, like this weekend. He got injured.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear. So
I don't know if that's going to have anything. I don't know how long time the injury is, or if it's even an injury. But he came off the pitch from a hip injury, which is his weakness, a recurring injury. So I don't know. What to go back to what Amundi said as well is, are we annoyed on the deals haven't been done? Are we patient? It's
I mean, let me
patience. I think.
Let me take that question first. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the fan base, to a degree, myself included, are more annoyed that, you know, obviously most other clubs got like the heavy lifting done, like their main transfers in place for the start of the season, and they don't even have the start to the season that we do. You know, Europe's champions and then England's champions back to back, home and then away. You know, and they've strengthened their first team, not just their squad. Both of those teams, Chelsea and City, have strengthened their first teams, and their first teams are already very strong. So I think there's a lot of jaded, a feeling of jadedness like amongst the fan base because of that, and also anger as well. I mean, would you agree with that, James?
Yeah, I think so. It's more. I think it's more that how we've gone about the window. Like, we gained hope early on. 3 good deals. I don't care how expensive Ben White is. He does improve us quite a lot. Mm-hmm. You might have seen it in the first game where everyone's saying he got bullied. It's going to take time. I think he's going to become a quality centre-back. I really do. But then there's this period where it's just nothing. Nobody left. Nobody came in. It's like, what are you doing? And that's when the frustration kicked in. And now, instead of having everything prepped, like you've seen the bigger teams do, in terms, or sorry, not bigger, the higher up teams like Chelsea, like City, like United, right, who have got their players in that they wanted to do. Now they're ready to go. They're ready for the season, right? Now we're in a position where we just lost to Brentford. We're arguably playing the 2 best teams in the country back to back, and we still haven't addressed the positions we really need to.
Yep.
Right back.
And then that can put you in a situation where, come the end of this month, we haven't got a point on the board, and teams are as much as 9 points ahead of us. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's going to be a chasing pack, by the way. You know, I think that's poor. It's not going to be like, I don't think there's going to be a massive points difference between first and second. I'm projecting probably like 5-6 points maximum. We're not going to see none of this 14, 15 points, I don't think. And yeah, I think it will be that number of points, like 15 to 20 points, that separate the top 4 teams.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm back. My bad. My internet disconnected.
One away. But yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. Like, yeah, I think that's the jading feeling that I've got. And I think another thing that ties into that is this, because when you consider, you know, that they're turning around and saying, oh, well, we need to wait to sell players, or that's the impression that we're getting. Then you look at something like this, and it's just like, well, hang on a minute. Can I zoom that in somehow?
Yeah, I think they can see it. I can see it relatively well.
I mean, look, you can see there that in the last 10 years, owner investment for Arsenal Football Club has been some of the lowest in the league, with only Tottenham, Norwich, Burnley, and Newcastle investing less. Some of these teams aren't even Premiership teams anymore. West Bromwich Albion, and you know, it's not a big difference. But yeah, I mean, it's still a difference of about 7 million. Sheffield United over double. Southampton, Palace, West Ham, Leeds. You know, Leeds have only been back in the league 1 season. 1 season. And in 1 season, you know, the level of owner investment Yeah,
Yeah,
it says it all. And I think this is what frustrates me, because when you hear, look, this is the situation we're in. We can't, if we can't move on a player, like keeping a Xhaka now is like, are we not going to go for a Basuma, which we also need? And it's kind of like, look, you've taken several players off the wage bill anyway, and arrange fees for some of these players, either now or at the end of the next window when obligation comes in. I mean, couldn't you bridge that for a bit as owners, like for once?
yeah. It's the frustration.
This is what frustrates us as well, because that would just get the business done, and then you can worry about that afterwards, sorting out all the change and
Yeah, it is. It's just I want to be optimistic, right? And there is things to be optimistic about. The majority of what's going on now, right, is negative. I'm not going to lie, it's negative around what's happening with Aubameyang and Lacazette, the result, Arteta losing his job, the owner's not spending, yada, yada. All of this, right, is negative news. But the business we are doing, the squad we are building, slowly over time is becoming younger and is becoming better. It's just, it feels like we have not an incompetent manager, just a manager that isn't getting the best out of our players. But if you're looking at our squad on paper, right, in terms of the players that are 24 and under, we have very good young quality players within the squad. It would just take Kroenke to go, here's 150 million, 200 million, like Chelsea did. Chelsea had a really good young squad, right? They spent 200 million. They won the Champions League, right? Now they've added Lukaku and they're going to add Jules Koundé. We're at the stage where we have such promise within our team, in individuals, not as a collective, but in individuals. There is a lot of promise within, and that can be worked on. They just don't invest. And we'll go back to what like Amunde said about the sustainable model, right? Like, it can be positive, but we're not run well enough for it to be positive. We have the inexperience in the club. Sorry, 1 second. We have the inexperience within the club. Arteta, Edu, right? And we don't know when to sell. To be a self-sufficient club, you need to sell at the right price. And to be able to sell at the right price, you need to be successful, because then you can charge more for your players. If you aren't successful, right, nobody wants to buy players from a supposed big club that's finished 8th twice, right? You don't want to buy it. So that drives the player price down. If we would have done what Chelsea had done, we would have won the Champions League, right? They sold their centre-back, 20 mil. He played in the Championship. Yes, he's promising, but really? 5 million less than Joe Willock. We're not built well enough to be a self-sustaining model. And to be able to be that, we need to invest.
Ultimately, when you fall away from the European places and the teams in front of you are strengthening beyond the capabilities that you are, because of being hamstrung in the transfer market, what happens is you fall out of the European competitions, and then your whole business model becomes less sustainable. So, I mean, that's what's happened to us over the last 2 years now. It affects the players that you can attract. And then when you can attract good ones, they charge a king's ransom, because they completely exploit, sort of the situation and the need. The scarcity of quality in the team is aggressively taken to the cleaners. And in that sense, it ends up, altruistically speaking, being penny wise and pound stupid to not invest enough. But yeah, I get that we have spent a lot of money in the last 5 years, but what you'll notice is it's always been in isolation.
Yeah.
So like, people will look at it and say, we spent like just over 400 million in the last 5 years, which is what we've done, right? But you'll notice it was like Pepe came a year or two before Laka, who came, Oba, who came after Laka, and it's all spread out. It's not that you need to do it just in a concentrated chunk, you know. Chelsea obviously had the luxury of doing it because of the ban for 2 windows. And it maybe did take another manager coming in to get more out of them. But regardless of the manager situation and Arteta, whether you're in or you're out, this is what that squad needs. Mm-hmm. It needs that kind of ingestion, like all at once, of like almost a spine, you know, like the moment, you know, right back, centre mid, number 10. Can someone play on the left? If we're getting a number 10, is that putting Smith Rowe and Martinelli on the left? You know, what's happening with the strikers? You know, are they staying? Are they going? So yeah, it's just I think the main thing here is as Big Dogs is saying, it's more our problem more is a misappropriation of funds than not having. When I talk about investing, I talk about relative to the teams that we're competing with. Do you know what I mean? So if we're trying to become title contenders, and City are buying Grealish, and they're buying Kane, like to even keep up with them, like we would need to make several signings. Do you get what I mean? Like we wouldn't be able to do it off the squad that we've got. So it's like if that gap keeps widening because they keep adding more quality and more depth than we are in the same window, we're never going to catch them. Do you know what I mean? We're never going to be in and around those positions. And quite frankly, the top 4 teams, this is exactly what they're doing at the moment. I'm looking at their transfers and what they're doing, and I'm thinking, have we got closer to them in terms of the quality of the team? I can't name a single team that finished in the top 4 last season that I can put my hand on my heart and say, based on the attrition that we've done and what they've done, I feel we are closer to them in terms of quality and depth in our squad than we were before the window opened.
Not right now. No, I think
we need to extend that to maybe even 5th and 6th as well.
Yeah, no, it's not like I don't want to slate Edu because I want him to do well, right? I know you don't like him, right? But the signings he's made, bar Willian, right, in the past 2 summers, they have been good signings on paper. Gabriel, Partey, Lokonga, Tavares, Ben White, right? These are good signings, and they're good signings to be in the right direction. It's just the fact of it's too fucking slow. Like, there needs to be more. This is a question I want to ask, right? If we get one of Odegaard, Maddison, we get Ramsdale, and we get like a right back, Max Aarons, for example, right? I think that is a good window. I think it's a good window. On paper, that's a good window. We've addressed a lot of the positions we needed to. We haven't addressed all of them, and that's fine because I knew we weren't going to. But in terms of making the squad younger, adding a lot of quality, and adding depth, I think I would call that a successful window. But would you agree if we got? Well, I think we've improved our floor. Yeah, exactly. But it's a transit. I'm not going to. Everyone's like, oh, you need to trust the process. It's a process. It's transitional, right? For me, this season was always going to be get rid of some players. We haven't really done that. There's still time to do that. Bring in quality, young. We've done that halfly. We still need to do it more, but I'm trying to find the positives here. If we bring in Ramsdale and we bring in Odegaard, that's not enough for me. We need 3 minimum. And that's why I'm looking at a right back. I'd love Max Aarons to come to the club. I think he drastically improves us. But what do you think? Like, what is for this to be a successful window, how many signings do we need and who do those signings need to be?
I don't really put it on a number. I just think I put it more on like overarching team goals. We need to start scoring again. Mm-hmm. Like since the Rioch days, I can't remember Arsenal struggling this much to get on the score sheet. Mm-hmm. And that says a lot, you know, like it's part of our lifeblood, our tradition. Do you know what I mean? To be attacking teams, sometimes at the detriment of defense. And I admit Wenger didn't get that balance right, particularly towards the end of his tenure. And Emery overstepped that boundary a lot, sometimes with some of the defensive displays we saw under his stewardship. However, now it's like we veered to the other extreme, where it's too safe, it's too sterile. We are trying to save face too much. We are not being aggressive, in how we're passing the ball forward. We're not being inventive. We're not taking risks, and the risk reward scale is largely in favor of stability, keeping your organization in your shape. We need game changers, like that are able to bring that bit of flair and creativity and service to the strikers, I think. So I think that's the way I see it. I mean, what are your thoughts?
It's I want to be realistic here. We are best going to finish 5th. Even with the signings I've said, if we bring them in, best we're going to finish 5th. And I'm fine with that. I want to see us back in the Champions League. It's been so long since I've heard that anthem and seen our players in their kits, right? That's something I miss. I want us back in the Champions League. But realistically, for me, if you add Odegaard, or if you add Maddison, you add Ramsdale, and you add a centre mid, a DM, or a right back, any one of those last three that I've said, a CM, DM, or a right back, right? For me,
why can't it be all three?
That is enough, right? That is enough to be in Europa. If we don't get Europa, Arteta needs to go, right? There's so many holes in this squad that we need to plug, and we seem to discover new issues with as we go through the transfer window. But I think that quality that I've said, that's 6 signings that we were always quoted 6 to 7 players that we were looking at, right? For me, those are very good signings that with the right manager, be it Mikel Arteta or be it somewhere else, Antonio Conte, Dream, whatever, whoever you want to say comes in, will have a good enough squad to then next summer. I say invest, right? Because we're not going to invest, but the principle there of spending wisely from next season, right, can be achievable. And I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I think the striker situation will sort itself out, right? They're either going this season, like I said, and Nketiah, or they're walking for free next season. So whatever way possible, right? Next year, we're going to have a fresh striker, centre forward, left wing, because we need both, because Aubameyang is going to be on his last year as well.
Yeah.
And that's when we'll see. But for now, if we can bring in 3, I'm going to be, okay, this is a good window.
We'll see. Yeah. I think, it sounds, you got to take what you can. I think, it's going to be impossible to address everything in one window. What's to say they won't do something in January by way of loan or purchase then, and then obviously you've got next summer. But anyway, guys, I think it's been good to be with you today. This was just going to be a short update show on the latest transfer news. Last message before we go. Don't forget to smash those likes. If you haven't already subscribed as well, we're part of the FTB Sport family, which has other associated channels dedicated to other teams. The Man United agenda, pretty self-explanatory. Paxton Road for Spurs and Cop Talk for Liverpool, with talks ongoing to grow our channel further and include other teams from the Premier League and other divisions as well. So hit the like button, be sure to subscribe, tell your friends. But that's it for GunnerKing's Court today, and I will catch you guys all up very soon. Thank you all once again, all of our viewers as well, and we will be back on Monday. Peace. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace.
We're still live, by the way.